Hi guys, my name is Joseph Mosi. I am the studio manager here over at Common Sense Studios in Woolwich. I'm a 23-year-old filmmaker currently from Southeast London. Hopefully I might move in the future someday, but I can't really specify on that too much. But yeah, I've had an interesting creative journey. I actually studied neuropsychology over at the University of Leicester, and I graduated about 2 years ago. Before that, I don't want to say a full-time musician, but I was doing music, and that was like what I was known for, locally, regionally, in most spaces. I was a rapper, I was a singer. I do have a couple of songs out there if you want to go and check them out, but I won't be leaving any links below here because, yeah, exactly. But yeah, I was doing music sort of full-time. During university, a couple of different things happened to me. I had a couple of different experiences. My passport got stolen. This and that. Like, university is university. And as a result of that, I fell out of love with the musical practice. I still do music as of right now. I'm an instrumentalist. I play saxophone. I do drums and keys sometimes, and I help out in church here and there. But I fell out of love with that musical element of my creativity. But after completing university, I just realized that this wasn't enough for me. I wanted more out of life than just an office job and sitting down and doing sort of regular people things. So I was like, I need to keep this creative juice going. And for a long time, I've had an interest in visual media and the visual arts. And before even the music, I had like a whole series on YouTube where I was documenting my life called the Eden series, and it was meant to be fairly cinematic. It was graded poorly because I was like 16, 17 back then, and this was a part of like a school project. But ever since then, I've taken up to iPhone photography, and even before I had an iPhone, I had a Huawei P10 when I was a broadcast student, like little kid. But I had a Huawei. I've shot on Androids, I've shot on iPhones, on iPads, and I've always had this interest in just taking cameras and making the mundane look so much better than it is. And so after completing university, when I got my first job, the first paycheck I had, I went out and bought the Sony ZV-E10 Mark 1. There's a Mark 2 right now. Mark 1's better anyways. But I bought the Mark 1, and I just ran from there. Like I remember just being so excited, just picking it up and be like, I'm just so ecstatic to get out there and point this thing in people's faces. And I had to go through the process of learning about the exposure triangle, about learning aperture and f-stops and shutter speeds and ISOs, and learning about different lighting like Rembrandt lighting or pinpoint lighting, stuff like that, backlighting, learning about the different styles of lenses. I used a lot of vintage lenses. I picked up the Helios 44-2. I learned about lens modding, anamorphics, flaring, stuff like that, and that was in around 2022, and I spent the first year of that hobbying it, and I just created like a whole series. I had like a cine short series that I did on Instagram, did really well. A lot of people really got involved with it, and then I had like a bigger series which was called Viceland, where I just went around different spaces and told like really poetic stories about the environment that I was in, about people, about the places, about the adventures you could have in sort of spaces. And that was what sort of took my career from this as a hobbyist to this is somebody who's taking this somewhere. That was the mid to ending range of 2023. Now 2024, I actually quit my job a couple of months back in August maybe, I'm not sure, but around the end of August, around the end of summer really. And I was like, I've built up this much experience, and I did have a couple of like part-time clients when I was working full-time. I had a couple of part-time clients I was seeing, and I was doing different shoots here and there. So I had the experience of like using a camera to make money. So I decided to take it full-time. And I've been doing that full-time, which is what leads me here today, which is studio manager at Common Sense Studios. And this space has been a really, really giving space and allowing me to just bring out my creative juices. A lot of what we do here is really podcasts and talking headshots, but we have had bespoke projects before. We've had people come in and be like, I want to shoot this and this and that. And this space has really allowed me, as someone who's an aspiring DOP cinematographer, to come in and get my hands on a bunch of work that I otherwise wouldn't get anywhere else. And that's why I really love this space, and it's been an honor and a blessing to be such a huge part of this space, coming from our previous home, which was over at Deptford, Paynes Wharf. Now we are in Woolwich, closer to home for some of you guys, and it's been really good. And I just think that I'd love to invite anybody down here who thinks that they've got something that they can give to the world and offer to the world, because when I started out my journey, I thought, maybe this is too much, maybe this is this, maybe this is that. But when you have something to offer to the world, don't let don't let it be taken away from you. You know, you have so much to give to the world. That's my advice I could give to people, is that when there's an idea in your head, it's because you've been given it. I'm a Christian. I believe ideas are God-given from God. If you don't act in them, they'll go to somebody else. Somebody else will act in them. And so this space has given me the room and allowed me the space to just create freely. And yeah, what I'm looking forward to in the future is just kind of developing the space, helping other creatives, you know, my team that I'm working with, the studio assistants, and other people who are coming here to record with us, to turn those random, quirky ideas into something that is like, oh my God, this is a real thing, right? That's kind of like something I'm looking forward to. But on top of that, also building out my own projects. I'm looking towards working on a short film, at least ideally by next year, and then within the next sort of 3, 4, 5 years, having a feature-length film, working as a cinematographer on a full-size set, and also doing commercials, really getting my hands into different things. And I'm going to be running up it. I do have a YouTube channel, but I'm going to be running that a lot more up, because I know that content is a huge part of the world we live in. And that's kind of the future I'm looking forward to. And, you know, I'm ready for that future with common sense. I'm with you guys. So stay tuned. Peace.